Okay, we're going to do another mini lecture, and we're going to do then a secondary workshop. The mini lecture is going to be on something that, well, you may understand to be a little weird, but this is information that you need to go ahead and see. Okay, it's called order followers. And we're not talking about you following orders outside, okay, the plane. Okay, because you know, you drive your car, you have to follow orders, 35 miles an hour, pay your taxes, okay? Do what is right that the system says. That's exterior order takers, okay? You're in the military and someone says for you to jump or shoot somebody or go over there. What do? You're an order taker, okay? Following orders. You work for a corporation and they say your job is to do this even though you don't even want to do it and you feel it's not right, you still do it. Why? It's because you're a good order taker. So the order taking we're going to talk about is the order taking that's in your body. These are the parasitic power that you see. This is what I'm saying. You need to know this, guys. Okay? There's order takers outside. You already know who they are. Okay? Basically, the orders that we get come from an authoritative level. Right? Okay? Now, if we jump in the body, there are order followers and takers in here. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. This is an internal and an external idea. Okay, so the powers that be should not be. It's sort of normal when you talk about a lot of the things that are going on outside. The powers the powers to be that should not be. Because everybody always says the powers that are today. Okay, so it's the same idea. Okay, is that the powers that should not be in your body controlling you are something realistically you need to understand. Because you guys right now are doing water fasting, you're here to disconnect parasites, and you need to really understand this psychology and physiology of what lives inside your body, which I call the galaxy. Okay, it's your galaxy. It's whatever lives inside you, okay? This is living with you. And right now you guys you're 5 days water fasting, okay? And you're on your 4th day, right?
No, 5th.
5th? Okay, 2. And then you're on your 3rd day. Okay? And 3rd day, of course, is when we all know, okay, this is when you start to find out who's living inside you that's going to start complaining. Did you guys have a lot of turbulence so far? You're in 5 days.
Not too bad. The 3rd day, both my legs felt like they weighed an absolute, like everything was just so slow motion. It was just to move anywhere, just mind very clear, but yeah, just weight in my legs was just unreal. Like moving around was just, but otherwise great. Okay,
because usually the first 3 days. Okay, same with. Did you have problems the first 3 days as far as hunger pains? Remember, this is hard for people to grab. Okay, you're on your 3rd day right now, right? Okay, it's hard for people to grab. I'm not going to eat for up to a week to 2 weeks. That's not something you should go on vacation for. But what's going to happen, okay, is this is where, like I said right now, a lot of your thoughts you're going to find out are creatures in your body that are actually giving you a lot of thoughts. Okay, remember, what lives inside you, okay, lives with you. And this is important understanding. Okay, so this is the sort of like talking about the occult. Outside, you can go ahead and see the control. You have to go ahead and follow orders. But are you following the orders of what lives inside you? Do you feed them what they want? Do you give them what they want? You don't even know they're there. Remember, parasites are very elusive creatures. Very elusive. And if everybody even knew what was living inside them, that would be the #1 thing on their list, is to let them go, not kill them. Okay, because we're going to go over 2 different areas right here from this. Okay, one of the things I want you to learn too, because I want you to learn about the external system too, like I was telling you about, because you're opening up your minds right now. And one of the guys I'd like for you to be able to watch, okay, is Mark Passio. Okay, Mark Passio, and look up the video called Order Takers. And of course, it's just for your consciousness right now, because I want you to go ahead and put whatever he says and put it on the inside. Okay, is because it's exactly happening inside the body. Most people are order takers. They eat and feed 6 times a day. They're not smoking. Their microbes inside are feeding. Okay, I don't care what kind of addiction anybody has, sexuality, drama, whatever it is. Okay, once you disconnect these creatures in your system, all of a sudden you get a new life. But there's turbulence. on the disconnections. Okay, so parasites, once you understand them, they are very powerful, and they will take complete control of your body and your mind. But it's slow. It's slow assimilation. Okay? So disconnecting the parasites for most people is very difficult. Okay? Unless they do fasting. You can't go ahead and actually disconnect anything until you disconnect the fuel source. Okay? So this is what you guys are doing right now. Okay? Now, what you guys have right now is you have willpower, brother. That's what you have. You have willpower just to show up here. And that's a lot of willpower. That means your brain has logic and reason, whether it's fear, whether it's whatever it is, or maybe it's just logic. It doesn't matter. It's got willpower just to be able to go ahead and actually try something new, okay? That most people would never do. Remember, you guys flew from where?
London.
London, England. Oh my gosh, it's long. How many hours? 20 hours or so?
Yeah.
Sitting around in the airports waiting. Did you get your luggage taken? Last time I went there, they lost my luggage. Okay, so you have willpower versus parasite power. So once you understand this, okay, you have willpower right now. And we'll see how much the parasites have power, because they're going to make you stop fasting. They're going to tell you, okay? And that's why you don't need to go ahead. This is part of the fasting here. I want you to understand. Everybody's got a different level of toxicity. Everybody's got a different level of minerals. Everyone's got a different level of what I call consciousness or reality. Okay? So there's so many variables in everybody, but you'll all find out once you start to go ahead and see there's willpower that you need to understand. Your mind's in control of your body right now, but we're going to see how long your mind can stay in control, is because whatever lives inside you, remember, is going to go ahead and actually put up a fight like everything does. And the body parasite power is going to, let's see if it doesn't override the mind. Okay, so you can only go so far, because your body will get weak like everybody. Okay, they'll have to say, I just know, this is it, this is my last day. I always ask people, what made you stop? Remember, you fasted last time. How many
12 days.
12 days. Wow. Okay. Remember, 12 days. That's a long time. And Trevor knows that. A lot of people can't make 7 days. And they're the best people in the shape a lot of times, too. Okay? And there's a lot of different varieties. Not that that person's weak or strong or anything else. There's a lot of emotional and a lot of mental things that have to release. If not, you got to stop. Okay? So, willpower, okay, is real simple. Once you get over the hump, okay, the willpower that you have over parasite power, okay, is going to be turbulent just to be able to keep on the right track. Okay, you know that people can go ahead and fast for up to 30 days, okay, without food. Okay, you only have 3 minutes without any air. Okay, you got 3 days without water. 30 days without food. So you have a lot of space. If you're only fasting for a week or two, it's very safe. Unless, well, you got a lot of different creatures inside you that have sometimes what's called colony collapse. And we've had that happen. Trevor's seen that before. On the 7th day. Okay, usually on the 7th day. There's no food. And this happens with people 20, 30 pounds overweight. And what happens is there's no food, and that colony dies. There's no food. And so what you do is you get diarrhea, you throw up, you feel terrible. It's because, remember, I'm going to tell you about these things. You live with these creatures. You feel terrible because that's how they feel. And you throw up only because it's dead material coming out of you. Better than keeping it in. And not only that, how much diarrhea did you get? Whoa, smelly? You haven't even eaten for 7 days. Where did it come from? Okay? So, once you get over this hump, though, okay, you can always go ahead and understand, okay, and I've done videos on this. There's a master-slave reality that you need to see, okay? This needs to be the master, okay? This is the slave, okay? Until you get them under control, and then basically there is no master-slave reality, otherwise you just have duality with yourself. Then you need to make a deal with both the body and the mind, because now they're both at levels where you could manage them, okay? If not, master-slave reality. Most people, okay, who's the master? Remember, parasite power. I know this just about just everyone. Okay? And who's the slave? The mind. Okay? And why is that? Okay? The power of parasites, remember, they rule the nervous system. And so they control a lot of the way you feel, and your feelings, remember, are what? Your thoughts. Okay, so let's get deep. Okay, but once you disconnect this master-slave reality, okay, this is when you get your new chance. Okay, now the idea, if you wanted to look at that, you know, religious about master-slave reality, when something's controlling your mind, you can call that Satan. And these are these parasites. And these parasites, let me tell you, I don't call them parasites anymore. I call them demonic creatures. And it's because, first of all, they're inside you, and there's no reason for them to be there. But there is, okay? It's because you let them in. So once you change, okay, first of all, once you change your terrain, because we talk about this all the time, once you change the toxicity level, put back in the minerals, you change a lot of the departments of yourself, these things have no choice but to leave you. If you try to kill them, they will put up a fight, and most likely you will get sick and you'll stop because you're fighting something that you shouldn't do. And this is the typical, and we're going to get into this here, the typical understandings, okay, from the 1890s to 1900s were this guy named Louis Pasteur, okay, and this other guy named Antonio Beauchamp, okay, or Beauchamp. Okay? And these two guys, remember, where are the new ideas? Why does everybody hold on to it? The pharmaceutical system, okay, or the constant, what you'd say, the regular medical system right now that you see, runs on germ theory that you get sick from the outside in, okay? Something jumps inside your body and you get sick. And what do they have? They have something to kill it, okay? And now Dr. Antonio Beauchamp, he says that it's the only reason why these creatures, because they're everywhere, every minute, okay? You're breathing 14,000 different germs all the time, okay? Why aren't you sick? Remember, your body has certain types of sort of layers to it. We call the immune system. And once your system gets up to a certain layer, you're impervious to getting sick. To 90% of the creatures. Okay, of course, if I had something right here that would be very powerful, of course, even if your immune system is good, you can still get sick. So the way I'm trying to share with you, you'll go ahead and see that the medical practitioners, the naturopathic practitioners, the Dr. Chiropractic, the holistic type, they look at the Antonio Beauchamp, okay? Meaning that you got sick is because of your environment. You got sick because of the bloody food you're eating. You got sick because you're not following the rules, and you did it to yourself. Now the creatures came in, and now they made a house, okay? And what do? Do you kill the creatures? No, you fix your body. Because that's the only reason. Remember, the question is, why did they get in? They're always getting in. They can always get in. But why did they get in? And now the other side of the fence, remember, is to be able to say that it doesn't matter what you eat, because this is what the pharmaceutical, remember, you have sick care insurance or health care. When you go to the doctor, do they change your diet? Very few. Naturopathics will, and certain holistic ones will, but the pharmaceutical guys there, no. It's a pill that cures all. And I'm not saying, let me tell you, they've saved my life several times. Okay, my father ran 25 hospitals. I got a chance to work in every area of the hospital. Okay, and found out that the best department is the emergency, because they did save people's lives. If you go in for different things, well, that's not sometimes the best. I can tell you that, okay? So, this is what, let me just get to this part here. If you look on the internet, you're just going to get very confused because the whole system wants you to conquer and divide. And if you conquer and divide, Republican, Democrat, okay, good, evil, okay, this religion's better than this one, whatever the case may be, what does it do to you? It confuses you. What if you look into health and you look up whatever I'm telling you, okay? All you're going to do is find a lot of information, and you're going to have to go ahead and be very smart or have discretion, okay? So this is why everybody needs to get guided. Now the big thing is, okay, so, and we'll get right into this here, polymorphism. And I don't have the pictures here. I was going to go ahead and show you. This is why you don't kill anything. Terrain modification is following Dr. Antonio Beauchamp's theories, because that's all everything is a theory. It'll actually work, okay, in your mind, and not be a theory anymore. It'll actually be real. Okay, so the idea, polymorphism. Has anybody heard of that before? Mm-hmm. Polymorphism is something you want to write down, and I'm going to show you guys some different pictures. I don't have them here, but they'll be on the internet. Polymorphism means that the bacteria, the creatures that live inside in you, only live inside in you depending on how you let them live. And you don't kill these creatures because they just switch shapes depending on who you make them be. So if that's the truth, so you have a creature over here that's pathogenic, it's only because your body is dirty. It's only because this thing is doing what it does. It's decomposing you because you're falling apart. Remember, the bacteria, you got to think, they're not your enemies. They're just helping you clean up the decomposition that you have, putting a cell phone up to your head. How do you think people go ahead and get sick? It's decomposition. You wind up making houses for different things, okay? People wearing cell phones on their hip, they wonder why they get bone cancer. Okay, this is a constant irritation. Stomach disease, constant irritation of eating certain types of things that constantly inflame you. So, pleomorphism is very simple. Okay, now the other side of the fence doesn't see pleomorphism, and it is true. You can manipulate your child, let's say, okay, to a better child, can't you? And you can manipulate them, it's pleomorphism. Change morphological shape. And that's, of course, consciousness and, of course, the body. So the bacteria are the same way. They change to the terrain that you give them. And so your disease is caused by yourself. And people need to wake up to this. Okay? It's caused by yourself. The parasites aren't evil. The bacterium pathogenic ones aren't evil. They're only evil for one reason. It's because they're cleaning up. People look at these things as actually living in a certain degree of sort of like just for nothing. Most of the creatures that live inside us only feed off of the food we give them. There are other creatures that go ahead and live off of you once they get inside you, and that's a different story. But 90% of the parasites, 90%, can be manipulated, terrain modified out of you by just changing not only your fuel intake, but drying yourselves out as you guys are doing right now with water fasting. Remember, liquids is going to make you healthy. Liquids. It's not the food. What do they eat? Most pathogenic microbes, anybody knows if you have any form of disease, if you have any type of glucose, that's just fuel for them. Okay, so what are you guys doing now? You're not having any glucose. You're not having any carbohydrates. You're not having any fats. You're not having any proteins. But what you are having for fuel is ketones. And your body's making ketones after 3 days, after it runs out of fuel. And this is the best time right now for your body to regenerate. This is a fuel, a food source that most likely you've never had before, okay, unless you go through this type of regimen. So, the biggest picture now I want you to get in your head here. Remember, you did this to yourselves, guys, and it's not just picking on one person. Everybody and anybody that's sick. It's because, okay, we have to understand that it's not just the food toxicity that we get. It's not just the heavy metal toxicity we get. It's not just maybe being dehydrated or not getting enough sun or just plastic in our body. No, no, no. It has a lot to do with what's called septic poisoning. And how do you get that? You know, antiseptic. Septic is like disease. It's a poison. Okay, septus. Okay. How do you get septic poisoning? How about what lives inside you poops? And this is poisoning the tissues. So right now what you're doing is you're resting your body from fuel, so your septic poisoning is going down rapidly. This is why you need guys need to do the sauna if you can. Okay, and really sweat the stuff out of you. And one of the reasons why, again, everyone's got septic poisoning. Anybody that's got body fat has septic poisoning. Okay, anybody that has a tapeworm has septic poisoning. Why? Because they're pooping inside. Okay, so now toxic waste is the #1 reason why people get sick. So once you get heavy metal poisoning, once you're demineralized, once your body all of a sudden is this open house and the creatures come in, and then you're not only sick from being demineralized and so forth, but now you have a whole host of creatures inside pooping in the body. And this is what causes the dysfunction. This is what causes the deeper sickness, not the beginning sickness, the deeper sickness. Okay, so think of your 100 trillion cells that you have. Each cell has a tiny little engine in it called a mitochondria. Okay? And you can call this an electro-packed nanobattery. And And if you've got a lot of this toxic waste in your system, it can't make conductivity with the other cells. And so this is why everybody gets sick. So you can see a person, let's say, with a tumor, okay? Or a person that has some type of intestinal inflammation all the time, okay? That area, okay, has a lacking of the conductivity is because it's got a different group of creatures in there that don't like electricity. And this is the cause of I would say 90% of most disease is called mitochondrial deficiency. Okay, so your age and your age, you guys should be taking, I take 600 milligrams of ubiquinol a day. I'm an old guy, 56. Ubiquinol has magically helped me. And that's a reduced form of coenzyme Q. Okay, very smart. It's not cheap. Okay, it's not. And there's only the one I use is the one from Japan, because that's the one they did the studies with.
What does it do?
Ubiquinol fires the mitochondria. Remember, energy problems have to do with mitochondrial, okay, dysfunction. And most of us can't process, okay, coenzyme Q past 35 years old or so. The reduced form of coenzyme Q is ubiquinol. And if you look it up, it's one of the most magical supplements once you get past about 30. Okay? Magical. Because what does it do? It kicks in everything to be able to go ahead and make your body's just electricity. It needs more electricity. It needs to be stimulated. It's like putting carburetor spray down the car just to get it going. It needs to get back in action. Okay? So you got low mitochondria energy, you got sick. You get sick and tired, you're sick. Okay? And mitochondria dysfunction just means that the cell is sick. It doesn't have enough energy inside. And usually if we were all cells and we're in a conductive fluid right now, if you have less energy, you know what I'm going to do? I got good energy. I'm going to send you a little bit. Okay? And then now she has good energy. And now she's got way too much energy, and all of a sudden you're connected to this one over here that has way less energy. But everybody's just transferring energy. And this is how you stay healthy. Once you get a tumor, once you get this whole area here doesn't live in energy. It's actually got a boundary around it to say we don't want any energy coming in, because that's not our energy. Okay? So this is the problem with parasites. They have a slick coating of weird stuff over their body. Their poop is so toxic that they're that smart to be able to put this sort of like snail coating and mucus so they can't get hurt by their own poop. Okay, so one of the things you guys are going to really see too is you're going to get clarity. And clarity is because you just have less toxic waste. Sepsis, okay? Sepsis in your blood. Remember, modern medicine is based on the germ theory. And there's nothing wrong with it. Remember, like I said. And now you have to go ahead and see. Modern medicine means that you have to go to the doctor so they can try to help you. But I see modern medicine now as you guys better become your own doctors. You better be smart. Okay, and how do you become smart? Well, understanding polymorphism means you're not going to kill anything inside your system, because you don't need to start a fight with everything that lives inside. Because everything that lives inside you, remember, even though they're in there, they're in homeostasis. So let's say you have a certain set of creatures here, whatever they are, that live in your intestinal tract, because parasites live everywhere. They poop. They bring a set of creatures that eat their poop. They poop. They bring a set of creatures. These are a layer of like the military. And each layer cleans itself up. If not, you die. So do you think it's smart to kill things inside you? Do you maybe kill the poop eaters? You need the poop eaters. Because you didn't kill the big ones. So now all of a sudden you got more poop in your system, and now you're even more dysfunctional than you were before because you did a cleanse. Not smart. That's why I don't like killing anything. And I used to do all this before too. I was a hunter. If it moves, I can kill it, just like in the Predator. If it bleeds, we can kill it. If it's alive inside your system, but that's not smart. So this is what I put together with terrain modification. You're learning 50 different departments, and your main theme is to upgrade, enhance, and optimize as much as you can, if you can, when you can. That's it. Do what you can. Okay, so both theories, remember the germ theories, are both valid. It's not to go ahead and take sides. Because there are germs, let me tell you, that can get inside, like anthrax. Gonna get inside you? Well, you're tough, doesn't matter. You gotta be really tough. Okay, there's certain types of germs that they've made. This is biowarfare in lots of different ways. Okay, that your body, if it's healthy or not, okay, will sometimes not be able to fight this off. But like I said, you change the body's terrain, 95% of everything can never bother you ever. And if it does, where you feel, because once you get your body clean, once you feel that you've been assaulted in any way, you've now, remember, you're your own doctor. You've got all these different products over here that you can take care of business now and not sit and say, I wonder if it's going to go away. No, just like here, I told you the other day. You played around because you had different weapons in a good way to go ahead and actually stop something that wanted to go in. Just like Trevor the other day. Okay, so once you feel something that you have said, you have certain tools back here that you can fix the problem with before it gets in you, inside your system, because certain things can get in. And what are you going to do when they get in you? Okay, well, you get sick. This is what happens. People get a little cough, they get a congestion, they think they're just sick. Why'd you get sick? Because now there's a new sheriff in town. Something's trying to crawl inside your system and move in. And it causes this weird such and such that goes in your system. And everybody's now got to get along because you got a new creature that's taken house. Remember, you're breathing 14,000 germs, I'd say way more every minute or every hour, whatever it is. Okay? A lot. Go on the plane, look what people breathe. Okay? And what happens to people? They get sick just from what? Because you coughed and you got sick. You said, what? Cough all over me. Okay? And I did. When I worked at the hospital, I got sick all the time. Until my system built up. Every time I went ahead and actually worked, because I could work anywhere in the hospital, I was sort of sick all the time. I didn't like really what I smelled and saw and stuff, but I got sick quite a bit. Colds. Okay, because it told me my immune system was weak in this terrain, because this terrain is sick. And my immune system, I thought, was so strong, wasn't as strong as I thought it was. Okay, because a lot of people go to the hospital and die because of what's called iatrogenic disease. And iatrogenic disease just means that it's hospital caused. My mother passed away this way. Okay? And this is not something so good. So if you go to the hospital, remember, you're in their web. They may save your life, and they may not. But all I can say is, you got to really, like I said, I spend 3-4 hours a day in study, and this is your new job right now, is to really, get deep understandings on how to become your own doctor, because nobody's going to teach you but you. Okay, so this is another idea. You guys are healing disease from the inside out. You're not healing it from the outside in. No, you're not. Yeah, you get out in the sun and all that kind of stuff, you clean it. No, that's not what we're talking about. You're healing it from the inside out. Versus, what does a pill do? It heals you from the outside in. Did it ask the question on why you got sick in the first place? And remember, certain pharmaceuticals do go ahead and have weight validity. They do. But you'll find out that, remember, there's no cures in the medical system. And I'm not bagging on it. Like I said, they've saved my life many times. My father ran 25 hospitals for NME Corporation. So I got a chance to see the business in full swing. It's business. And he wasn't a doctor. He's an administrator. He's a money man. It's business. At the end of the day, got to go ahead and make the hospital so it actually makes money. It shouldn't. Okay? So, now, you being now a doctor of yourself, that means that you have a credo inside right now. You shall not kill anything inside your body, okay? Because you're smarter than that, okay? Because if you do, and the only reason why you would is because you got infected. You got something that jumped in you, and all you're going to do is stop them right now. Okay? So this is the idea. See, I don't get sick anymore. And if I do feel like I have something coming on, you know what I do? I have about 8 things that I could choose depending on what I need to do to stop it right there. And they're nickel and dime remedies. And they've been used for thousands of years. Thousands. So it's not high expensive equipment. And there is equipment too that's expensive. Okay? But you don't need it. So this is not what we talk on YouTube though about, but there are certain types of tools that everybody's going to want in their medicine cabinet. Okay, so part 2, we're going to go ahead and do here a short workshop, but this is on you guys learning how to go ahead and actually start to work on the lymph system yourselves. You need to work on each other, and you guys may want to spend a half an hour every night playing with each other, okay? It's because you got to learn it. And you guys are a couple, which is great, because if you came here by yourself, just so you know, or you came here by yourself, when you came home, this is what happens. You've changed your heavy metal load, your parasite load, all of a sudden your mind is so clear, and when you come home, you go, oh my God. And he wants to pull you back into the dark, or since you didn't go, you want to pull him back in the dark. And what do? You fight like cats and dogs. Why? Because it's not you, it's your parasites don't like each other now. You don't eat the same, you're not the same morphogenic value. When you sleep with each other, you're not the same. Why? Because you're not. So you doing this together, that's why people need to do this in families. If not, you sort of break the family up. You just do. I know. It happened to my family. Okay, you become the red herring. Because all you're really trying to do is help people live a better optimal life. But what it does is questions what they're doing. But it's really not even questioning. It's what lives inside them, has mind control, and doesn't even want to change a thing. I've tried to help a lot of people in my family. It's time to take the horse to water, okay? But it don't want to drink. And it hasn't drank anything for 3 days, but it still don't want to drink. So what do? Force feed it? Okay? So this is why I try to do a lot of things that I do too, is once you lose your power to these parasites, it's very hard to unwind the spell. It's very hard. If not, guys, anybody can do this. These are simple protocols, simple things, but what it takes, okay? It does take, like I talked about, willpower. Do you have willpower at your house? No, you have a lot of programs. You do the same thing every day, and you have to leave your programs because they're neural net programming. So once you change your atmosphere, all this, what you're doing, is very simple to do. But once you go through this, I would always go ahead and do a 1 day a week fast, just to stay humble. Remember, you just did it, let's say, for 14 days. 1 day. I fast every day for 24 hours. But you're not going to do that in the beginning. But this is what you want to work up to. And I don't feel, remember, like I'm being a martyr. I'll have my chocolate throughout the day if I want. Okay? He'll make me this, and he knows. I'm going to drink this much, just an inch. That's all I want. And I'll drink it tomorrow. Okay? There's nothing that calls me. And at night I have my big smorgasbord dinner and have as much as I want of the right foods. And if I'm hungry during the day, what would you think you'd snack on, since you're supposed to have 20 ferments in your kitchen? Pickles, sauerkraut, you want a piece of raw cheese, you want a half of avocado. Remember, no sugar. That's all you're trying to do, is cut off the low level. Remember, 90%, 95% of the parasites are the ones that do the mind control. They're the yeast, mold, fungus, candida. Those are the ones because they're colonizational, and there's billions of them. Versus one tapeworm just suckles your blood. It doesn't care what you eat because it's going to drink your blood whether you like it or not. It's not eating the red meat. No, those are different ones. Those are the roundworms that people have in their stomach. So all you have to do is to get rid of roundworms is not kill them. What do? Stop eating meat. Stop eating cooked food for a while. Stop having such and such for a while, because that's all they do. They're decomposers, remember? So they call these decomposers, they're called detrophores, okay? And these are creatures that are not against you. They're only inside you, helping you. Because everybody thinks for some reason that bacteria, remember, are bad. You can't live without the bacteria. And since you understand now that polymorphism is real, and you can take a bacteria that's perfect and turn it into an evil pathogenic bacteria, it's because you did it yourself. And you can change that pathogenic bacteria and turn it pleomorphically back into a savior bacteria, which will make you so you'll never get sick. So this is the reason being why you constantly want to have the ferments. You constantly want to keep putting new military here. Okay, if you look at yourself and think, again, you just have willpower right now to disconnect your parasites, but in time, you know who has the power? This gut is going to control your whole body. And so this is where you're going to rebuild your gut wall flora, because this is the #1 brain right here. It's not this thing. It's not this thing. No, it lives right here. This controls your whole body.
Is there a better time to put the ferments in your body? Like you said, how comes you opt?
I have ferments 4 or 5 times a day, just to sit. If I'm hungry, and I don't even actually eat the material. Remember, in the beginning, Harry, you didn't really like the ferments, maybe, and after a while, you're like, hey, I love these things now. Once your system gets used to these processing it's a superior live food. Remember, it's not dead. System's used to not eating raw food's just nutritious, non-processed. That doesn't mean it has live food. Because you chop, you buy lettuce from the farmer's market, you put it in a refrigerator, it's lost all its energy. It's still got nutrition. Then you cut it up 100 times with a stainless steel knife. There's no life force there. Okay? How do you get your live food? You have a garden, and if you can't have a garden, you have some planters on your deck like I have, and you make live food. Just arugula. You can have just a few things, and when you're hungry, you have a piece or two of that during the day. Okay? If you have a garden, this is very important for you to know. Live food only stays alive for about 5 minutes. And I'm talking live food. So let's say I go to my garden and I have some lettuce. Okay? It's really good to do this. You bring your salad dressing out to the garden, okay? And I bring a bowl with water if I want to. I can crack that off, not cut it. I crack it off because once you cut it with stainless steel, you short circuit the thing. Stainless steel short circuits the energy. I want to eat the light, the plasma. So I crack it off. I can put it in water if I want to. I don't. I just go like this a couple of times because I like the bacteria. Okay, the bacteria are good for you. And then I dip it in my salad dressing if I want to. Okay? And what a nice dinner is to go in your garden and just and it's not to remember. This is the idea. When you eat live food, you only need a small amount. It's because it's superior fuel. So let's say you can't have a garden. Let's say you don't have any planters. Your live food is going to be in the kitchen. It's going to be sprouts. Remember all those sprouts I gave you? Okay? And normal people, you buy beans, like mung bean sprouts. They're just white. You don't eat them yet. There's only a little live. You keep them on your counter. What were mine? Green. And you let them sit there for 2 or 3 days. And they just turn it. That's when you eat them. You don't eat them when they're white. There's no power in any white. There's no life. Remember, green is life. So green things for you guys to regenerate. And you guys are young, but regeneration is not static. Okay, meaning you guys right now are called eugenesis. Does that sound bad? You're eugenesis. What does that mean? It means good genetics. You're into good genetics. And I say killing people. No. You're a eugenicist. Why? It's because you're making your genetics better. Not worrying about other people's. You're doing your own business. See, I'm an epi-eugenicist. I want to change my genetics beyond the normal good. We want to epi, above. Okay? And you'll see most people, they're not eugenicists. You know what they are? They're dysgenesis. Okay? They're falling apart. Dysfunction genetics. So what do you want to be? It's your choice. Remember, this is a choice that everybody makes. Everyone blames it on everybody else. Guys, it takes a little bit of critical thinking, or it takes some guidance in the beginning. And once you get the guidance, then you make the decision to do some of the things. How long have you been watching videos of mine?
7 years.
7 years. Okay. Both of you guys? Okay. So, but 7 years. Okay. Have you learned anything?
Lots.
Okay. 7 years, that means how much time do you think you put in? Well, that's 2.
Lots.
Okay. You watch the video sometimes twice?
Yeah.
I watch a lot of videos I can't understand 3 or 4 times. Okay. How many years have you been watching the videos? Remember, you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Either that. What's that?
1 year.
Okay. Have you learned anything at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's changed my life.
You changed your own life. Information's all out there, like I said. So being guided, and once you get on your own, it's like, once you learn how to build a house, maybe from a few other guys that taught you, maybe you may want to go ahead and actually try it yourself. Okay? The knowledge that you gain is only knowledge when you practice it. Because you can read a bunch of stuff. Okay? So you've practiced some of the stuff that you've learned too. Which means that's when you say, absolutely, changed my life. Because you just didn't read a book. You just didn't watch a video. No, you tried a few things. Okay? So, and how long have you
Just
been?
watched a few throughout the years. But
Okay, I mean, for you've remember, something gave you the power to come here. Remember, it's a lot to be able to trust, okay, something that you're going to, not even people, but am I going to get anything out of this?
Yeah, well, your belief systems are aligned with mine.
Okay. Yeah. And so this is why I like talking with people, because everybody's on belief systems, really. I like to go ahead and say your wisdom, okay, is in the same direction because it wants to be not only a eugenicist, but I like people that want to get their genetics above normal.
Yeah.
Okay? Epi-eugenesis. That's a pretty cool thing. What do? I'm an epi-eugenicist. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay, just remember though, the plants are your friends. They are the miners of this planet. They mine minerals. And if you spray any pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, Roundup, glyphosate, atrazine, anything, you kill the soil microbes, and the plants can't become miners. You know how they become miners now? Because the bacteria are the ones that mine the soil, so the plants can eat the minerals that the bacteria in the soil broke down. So what happens when you put chemical fertilizer? And you buy all these things, you have to put chemical fertilizer. Why? Because the soil's dead and the microbes in there won't break down the minerals because the plants can't eat rocks. They need something to break it down, just like you can't eat rocks either. Okay? You have to have ionic formed minerals so your body can uptake them. You can't eat rocks. And if you do, you know what happens? Well, you have to have a pH of 2 stomach acid to break down the rocks so your body now can absorb them. So most of the minerals, most of the things people are taking, again, it's not correct. So let's say you're a plant and you're a natural farmer, okay? The bacteria in the soil are going to break down the minerals for the plant. So the plant now becomes strong, okay? What do you do when you feed plants chemical fertilizer? Where is it made from? It's made from gasoline. No, it's made from petroleum. Okay? Ammonium sulfates, everything else, it all comes from chemicals. And what do they have in there? 3 minerals, and we're going to quit here real quick. Nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. There's 3 minerals. There's 80 minerals easily that you could put into the soil. Do you think the plant is going to go ahead and actually grow good? Yes, it does. Is it going to give you what you need? No. It's only you're putting in 3 minerals in the ground. And remember, there's no bacteria, so all it can do is look pretty. And it does. Okay? So this is the important thing. You need to remineralize your body with outside minerals too, because even if you're having organic, unless you got your own garden, you don't know what you're buying. Organic, schmorganic. You have to be very careful, okay, because you need minerals. And the minerals you need should go in line with live food. So what do? You have live food on your counter. You put, I put magnesium minerals and silica, okay, in everything. I spray it on my body. I put it in my coconut oil, okay? I put this in my mouthwash, okay? I put this in everything that I want to go ahead and have conductivity, because that's what this magnesium does. Remember, conductivity does what to the mitochondria? It makes them so they fire. And if you don't have the conductive minerals in your body, the right ones, because, well, you are eating good food, let's say, but right now everybody's deficient. So what do? You need to push your system with minerals that your body can absorb. And you don't even have to put it in through your mouth. Okay? 3 times a day I want you guys, oh, and it gets warm right away. And you put it on your skin. Feeding myself right through my skin. Yeah, you're not feeding yourself through your mouth right now. Okay? You're not even feeding minerals in your water, because the water that's detox water is dry water, and it's taking out all that septic poisoning from the parasites. What do you think detox water is? It's dry water, H2O. It goes in and it's dry and it starts to absorb garbage.
Does it work better when you're detoxing as well? Does it penetrate even deeper, or does it?
Well,
really...
the number one reason you put magnesium on is to feed your body without going through your intestinal tract and corrupting the water. The water by itself, remember, is a therapy. It's dry water. That's why distilled water is very smart. And if you look up on the internet, all you're going to see is a bunch of disinformation. Even from some of the guys that you sometimes even believe in. Remember, it's not that everybody knows the correct thing, but if you look at the top places that do detoxification, distilled water is pretty smart. You know why? It's because that's how the earth does it. The clouds only rain distillational water. Pure H2O. And it comes down and it sanitizes everything. Okay? So everything's fed by distilled water. Wow. That's what keeps it clean. Okay, and then how do you get acid rain? Well, the water's clean up here. Might be dirty in the clutch, but when it comes down, it takes all the smog or the smoke or whatever. What does it do? Put it on the ground. And what does it do when it dries up? It just pushes it back up in the air again. Okay, but this is the reason being, again, why it's very hard to grow things on the mainland. Is because you're going to water your plants with fluoride and chloramine. How do you think the bacteria are going to live? Even if you're organic. Where's your water supply? See, this is where it gets difficult. Okay, so it's really hard to stay healthy in this world, and that's why you got to be really smart and use supplements. Okay, iodine, you guys got all iodine here. Okay, I want you to paint your throat from here to here to here to here every day, and paint it. Okay, and when it gets, let's say, look at a couple drops on my hand, and you don't just put it on like this. Okay, you paint your throat. You put it on and you just paint it. Maybe you give it 2 coats. It's going to get all yellow. Once you put it on, what I do, and we did a whole video on this, you put a couple of sprays of magnesium, and then you into the iodine, and you massage this in. I want the iodine to go in here. This is a master gland, and this needs to get kicked back in. Remember, this is what changes your metabolism to kick itself up to maybe process fuels with higher metabolism. Okay, because your system right now is terrain modified to what I call whatever fuels and foods that you've been putting in your system and whatever your system is running at, sort of like a car. This upgrades your car. It feeds directly to the thyroid, which its #1 fuel is only iodine. But every cell in your body needs iodine. So you can put this on your hand, you got wrinkles, put it on your face. If you're a man, I'd put it on your testes once in a while too, and coat it. Get out in the sun. What does it do? Prostate problems? Okay. You got a goiter? What do you got? Okay. Iodine is very special. And we showed people in some of our other videos on Earth Academy how to combine the iodine with the fulvic acid, with copper. Very smart. Okay. This drives the iodine deeper into the system and also helps detoxify. And remember, it's all an experiment. And you have to go ahead and what are these? $20. What's the iodine? $15. All cheap stuff. So if you have iodine, you can see how you could put this on your hand, okay, and in 5 minutes, it's gone. Where did it go? You can overdose on iodine, okay, by taking it internal. That's why I don't like to have people take it internally. Put it on your skin and your body absorbs what it needs. Okay, but remember, every cell in your body needs iodine. Every cell. And iodine does what? Is one of the chief reconstructors of your system. If every cell needs iodine, okay, you need some iodine. Where are you getting your iodine from, guys? You having sea vegetables? Do you have them every day? Talking dulse. You have sea vegetables. Okay, where are you getting your iodine from? You're not getting your food. Okay, so this is why you see a lot of people overweight. It's why you see a lot of people with thyroid cancer. It's why you see a lot of people with a lot of dysfunctions, because the master glands. Okay, so we'll get into part 2. But once you guys make space, you got to refill your system. Okay, because remember, when you're fasting right here, you're drying yourself out. Remember how thin you got? Okay, but what did you do? Turn it over and freaking muscly, stud strong. You dry yourself out, and then what you do is, remember, you're your own doctor. You're not going to go ahead and refill yourself back up with a bunch of junk. Your body's a water liquid machine, and you're going to put in conductive minerals, and you're going to put in a lot of the things that it hasn't had before, and it'll absorb them. Why? It's because it's dry. Okay, so coming off a water fast, it's very simple. Let's say you only do 7 days. What are you going to have? Big thing of watermelon like all these other places do? Guys, that's not smart. Okay? No, you're going to start ferments. Okay? Even if you wanted to go ahead, let's say you do 7 days, and you say, you know what, I think I can go longer, but I don't want to stop my fast. Okay? How do you change that? Remember, you just don't go get out of ketosis. Go to my garden, get a piece of lettuce, live food right there. Eat 1 or 2 pieces. Don't just swallow, chew on it. Let it go in your system. Have a spoon of coconut oil with some salt. It tastes good. Okay? Keep it in your mouth. Swish it in there. Remember, all the action's here. Okay? And there's enough. This is 9 calories per gram. Remember, this is not going to keep your there's no sugar here, and this is premium superfood fuel. Okay? It's oils that we're going to train your body to be able to absorb, because that's the best fuel you can put in your body. And you can put sugar in when you need it. Sugar, I'm talking about live food. You know why? You're going to go run. You want explosive power? Fruit is really good. This gives you like diesel power. Diesels aren't so fast. Gasoline engines are fast. That's sugar. Okay, but diesel engines, oil, they run forever. They don't get much oxidizing. And this is why a lot of people get sick, is because you're eating too much bloody sugar and your body's not understanding how to process it. You know who processes it again? Parasite power. They eat all the sugar, and then what do? They poop. Okay, so this is this constant. And then what do you do in 2 hours? They're in your body and they say, feed me again. Now, have sugar before you go to bed. Wake up in the morning, you're insatiably hungry. The sugar microbes, yeast, mold, fungus, candida, they're all the same. Whatever they are, they're glucose eaters. What do you think happens when they eat? They're microbes. They're colonizers. I call them the replicators. They replicate like crazy. New children. And what are new children? Crying, feed me. They want more food. And so this is this constant. And once you do this for 6 months, that's when people gain 20, 30 pounds. They can't stop. These colonizational microbes own their system. So it is very hard to break the spell. Okay? It is. So, you know, this is why a lot of people fight with me about the sugar thing. Look, guys, when you get down to the level you feel that you should be at, you introduce sugar just like having, you guys have sex 5 times a day? You know what I mean? That's like sugar, okay? No, okay? You may have 1 time. Okay? And if you've never had fruit for a while, you may have 5 pieces of fruit. But once you find out such and such, after a while it all gets tiring. So the body needs to go ahead and actually replicate bacteria depending on how much fuel source you give them. And the fuel source that you give them, remember, they're live creatures and they have to replicate all the time. So this is why if you fast once a week, you stop the cycles of everything. Even if you don't want to eat so good, it just stops the cycle. Okay, and it makes their momentous movement, which is a conscious confidence job on the mind. Okay. Eating 3 times a day, and don't forget the 3 snacks a day, and don't forget right before you go to bed a big bowl of ice cream. They want to feed at night. Okay, so any questions? I just wanted to go ahead and just get people, look, remember, there's all these different theories. Everyone wants to get confused. Your germ theories are all real. Okay, but 90% of every creature that everybody's worried about is only because you haven't made your body strong enough. Remember, the plant only gets sick. It doesn't need pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides. And it gets sick because why? It's because we throw 3 minerals on the ground. And the plant is sick. It looks good, but it doesn't have what it needs to be able to fight off all the pesky passengers. So if the soil has the minerals, if your body has the minerals, if it has what it needs, and it gets a lot of the things like D3 and sun, it's impervious to simple sickness. If you get a common cold, it's only because your immune system's weak. How many common colds have you got in the last 5 years?
I don't get colds.
Okay, because you look really super healthy, yeah. How many common colds have you had? Okay, so remember, you should never get a common cold. What is that? That just means your immune system's weak. Okay, and what happened to me when I worked in the hospital? I got sick all the time. And I thought I was strong. Okay? My immune system was weak. And what happens when you get sick in the hospital all this time? The immune system starts to get stronger. It doesn't beat it up because it's strong enough to go ahead and actually keep on building it. Okay? So, but anyways, remember, septic poisoning from parasites, once you understand that, the number 1 parasite that you're going to stay away from is feeding it sugar. And that's it. And then, you know, people, a lot of people think, for some reason, if they do colon hydrotherapy or different types of therapy, unless they've done deeper work like Katie, look at the parasites that Katie kicked out. And is she skinny? She's thin. Okay? Do you think anything would come out of her? You'd say, no, she's got nothing in her. No, that's why she's like that. And you should see the snakes that came out of her. We'll put some on this video. Okay? Did you guys, the other day when you did the colon hydrotherapy, did you get any debris out? Okay, because you can do more.
Cut it short.
Okay.
I've done a lot of prep prior to this.
Okay. No, but you can do stronger types of as soon as you do your colon hydrotherapy, next time we have a drink for you to take.
Right.
But last time we had a little movements there. Everyone got a little sidetrack there. And then, did you get any debris out at all?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay. I know you got a lot. Right?
Violet mucus primarily.
Yeah. but you got stuff to
That's
come
some
up.
previous cleaning before as well.
Beautiful. Okay, and then did you get any?
I didn't get any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time when you came, what did you do that?
Nothing.
Okay, because this is one of the things you want to do too, is you're going to need to learn how to do your own enemas. And you can use way better different solutions yourself, okay, once you go ahead and actually clean the house. Once a week for the next 6 months or so, you want to clean the house. And you got to learn how to do it yourself. And you're not going to just do it with water. Look up my enema videos. Sodium bicarbonate, activated charcoal, okay, MSM. You can use your probiotic ferments. Wow. Okay. You can use a coconut oil enema. Okay. These are all different types of enemas to do. And it's not to do them all. It's to go ahead and actually stimulate your intestinal tract to go ahead and release toxicity. And so you try a couple different things. You don't need to do the same thing all the time. Trying to go, once you get healthy, what you're trying to do is just basically make everything so it's brand new again. And once you are, I haven't done enemas in months. I don't need to. But for a time period, I did it for like 3 months. Even a couple times a week. You know, and every time you do an enema, remember, if you can, you want to drink probiotic bacteria. Okay? Right now you guys aren't. Doesn't matter. But anything, any ferment that you're taking anyways right now, remember, is what? There's no sugar in it. So if you want to take a sip of a probiotic, make sure there's one that has nothing in it. It's sort of vinegary, like a kombucha. Now you want bamboo tea if you want some. There's bamboo in the back there. Make yourself some bamboo tea. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to do anything to your fast. It's going to soothe your brain, maybe a little warm stuff. Okay? So don't feel like all of a sudden everybody's cut off, like, oh, I can't do this, because, you know, no. Remember, you're here to cheat logically. Cheat logically. Like I said, if you need to go to the garden, have a piece of fresh something. But no sugar, no fruit, piece of vegetable. Okay? Okay, let's just go ahead and start part 2. Like I said, we're just going to work, I'm going to show you a couple things here. And if you can, you guys, you'll work on each other. What'll happen is if you do it right, you won't be able to work on that spot the next day. So there's many spots you can work, and you don't have to work on someone a long time. What you're going to do is do an intense workout on one spot. You're going to go deep, and you're going to use a couple different liquids we're going to use, and it's not to be done again for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, like let's see, you weren't there. I did Katie the other day. She was pretty sore. She didn't go into the sauna with me.
Yeah, we saw her. Did you do her back?
I did her, yeah.
Yeah, we saw her back.
Yeah, I did her whole shoulder and her neck. Okay, but remember, she's soft now too, is because once you do a water fast for 4 or 5 days, all these crystals break really easy. So a lot of times I'm showing people certain types of procedures. You got to be soft. If not, you can't even handle number 1, and number 2, you get really bruised. Okay, so, okay, all right, there we go, part 2.